Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it's week 7 of the NFL season, and the 4-2 Jets are going to be traveling to Colorado to take on the 2-4 Denver Broncos, a big game to say the least. So the big storyline heading into the game is the health of quarterback Russell Wilson. He's dealing with a hamstring injury, and according to Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network, it could be quote-unquote significant. Alright, so there's a chance he could miss this game. And man, we take a look at Denver's performance so far this season. I gotta be honest with you, 2-4, it's still early in the season. We've seen over and over and over teams start slow and then they turn it on late, teams start fast and then fall apart late. The season's not over for the Denver Broncos, not in the least, but I gotta be honest with you, some of the numbers, the overall performances from this Broncos offense has been startling, shocking, perplexing. I mean, whatever, adjective you want to throw out there. I was not expecting this from the Broncos offense. Okay, not at all. They are literally last in football in points per game, touchdowns per game, also in the red zone. And by the way, they're 30th on third downs. They're 2-4 on the season. Like we said, their 2 wins came against the Houston Texans and the 49ers. Their 4 losses came to the Seattle Seahawks, Vegas Raiders, Colts, and then most recently the Chargers on primetime. That game went to overtime. Okay, so we're looking at Denver so far this season, and I feel like it's one big it almost kind of feels like it's like New York media over in Denver, because there was so much hype, so much expectations. You go add Russell Wilson, a top quarterback, an elite quarterback in football, to a team with tons of weapons in Sutton and Hamler and Judy and Melvin Gordon at running back. Unfortunately, though, Williams did get put on IR. Which sucks, right? Because he's a really good young player. Funny enough, he's a former teammate of Michael Carter on the New York Jets back at North Carolina. But man, you look at that Broncos offense, you look at the talent, you look at the overall pieces, there's no excuse why this team is last in points, last in touchdowns, last in the red zone. There are teams out there with far less talent getting more production. I'm shocked. But here's the deal. The Denver Broncos defense, it's literally one of my favorite units to watch in football. It's not an over-exaggeration to say this group is elite. They are absolutely fantastic. This defense is top 5 in the NFL in points, yards, touchdowns, third downs, and in the red zone. And by the way, this just popped into my mind. They are a bottom 5 team in penalties. This defense does not beat themselves. This defense does not just hand out free yardage left and right to the opposing offense. Conversely, the Broncos offense is the most penalized offense in all of football. So it's totally polar opposites here. You got one side of the football that's absolutely dominant in the defense, and then one side, crazy enough, because they have the talent, they have all these different pieces, but they have been struggling so much. So what can this Jets offense do to have success against this Broncos defense? I really think the name of the game here is to feed the playmakers. I'm talking about Breece Hall. He's coming off another great game, 2 back-to-back games here for Breece Hall, where he literally looks like the best offensive rookie in the entire NFL. But we got Michael Carter, we got Garrett Wilson, we got Elijah Moore. I know Moore's coming off a game where he didn't see a single target against the Green Bay Packers. He took to Twitter afterwards. There was a little bit of drama, but look, at the end of the day, Elijah Moore is still a young, talented wide receiver. Let's get him the football. Maybe early within the play, where Zach Wilson doesn't have to go through a ton of different reads, and he's finding Elijah Moore late. Let's dial some plays up for Elijah, because we look at this Broncos defense. Yes, of course, they're stacked. They have the talent. They have the great ranks and numbers, but they're also 7th in sacks. So I don't want Zach Wilson taking these 7-8 set dropbacks, really taking a long time to throw, trying to step up in the pocket and everything like that. I would rather see Wilson get the football out of his hands quickly on, 2nd and manageable, 2nd and 7s, 2nd and 5s, 2nd and 4s, with, starting off the game running effectively with Breece Hall and Michael Carter here. Whether it be some trickery, whether it be some inside stuff, some outside stuff, really just feed the playmakers. And then when it comes to the wide receivers, Garrett and Elijah, get those guys the ball early to let them work yards after the catch. Again, as opposed to Zach Wilson taking these massive step dropbacks, which would then give the Broncos defenders more time, a higher percentage of just teeing off and getting in the backfield and having success. Now, when we flip it and look at the Jets defense going up against the Broncos offense, obviously we talked about it before, there is a big question mark at quarterback. Will it be Russ? Will it be Brett Rippon? I've talked to my buddy Rich, and this video is actually going to be posted later on in the week, whether it's tomorrow or the next day. He doesn't really think that Brett Rippon is a bad option at the quarterback position. He has seen guys get open for this offense. It's not like everybody is absolutely horrible all of a sudden on this Broncos offense. He tends to put the blame more so on Russell than Hackett, than the plays, than the wide receivers and everything, which is interesting to me. But I want the Jets defense to continue to build off what they've been doing the past literally 3 weeks against the Dolphins, against the Steelers, against the Packers. This defense has done a really good job of getting after the passer. They've done a really good job on the perimeters. Sauce Garder, DJ Reed. It's really difficult to throw outside the numbers on this Jets squad. You really have to hurt them over the middle of the field, up the seam, and really try to take advantage of one-on-one matchups between, tight ends and safeties, or even running backs out of the flat. I think to try to, and I get that it might sound kind of like a homer statement, but I believe Sauce Garder has looked like the defensive rookie of the year. I think it's foolish to try to challenge this guy over and over and over. I mean, he is making quarterbacks frustrated. He's making wide receivers look silly. You look at the size matched with the athleticism, also with length, arm length. I mean, this guy is all over the field. He is blanketing guys. And then DJ Reed on the other side has been performing really, really well. That's my favorite free agency signing that the Jets made. It really, really was, because it was cheap. It was a multi-year deal. And I love how Seattle kind of cracked the code, right? Because DJ Reed was initially with Saleh, couldn't figure out how to use him, goes to Seattle, really pops off onto the scene, back-to-back good seasons, but coming off the best season of his career. I was shocked when Seattle did not bring him back, signed that 3-year contract with the Jets, averaging out to around $11 million per season. I think looking at that number now, I mean, the Jets totally are getting much more production out of what typically $11 million in the free agency market calls for annually. So look, in order for the quarterback to, we could talk about how good the perimeters or the corners are on the perimeter, but the quarterback doesn't necessarily have to throw it. They can rely on the running game. So in order to get the quarterback to throw, I think it's big to win on first down and stop the run. Quinnen Williams has been on an absolute tear this season, and we look at some of the struggles of the Denver Broncos offensive line, left guard specifically. Dalton Risner out of Kansas State. Really, really loved him back at Kansas State, loved him his rookie season, but he struggled this season. Can Quinnen Williams take advantage of that? Can he get in the backfield? Can he stop the run? Can we get some tackles for loss? I believe if we do that, whether it's, again, Russell or Rippon, the Jets defense will force a lot of punts. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What's your prediction? Not so much like score. I mean, if you want to drop the score prediction, that'd be awesome. But what are you expecting from this game? Will the Jets continue their win streak? Will Denver continue to struggle? What's going to happen at the quarterback position? Cannot wait to find out. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.